Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Eyeway Encounters. This is something that we do every month. We have a guest who comes and speaks to us on topics of interest, topics of empowerment, topics that share information. And uh, one line about Eyeway. Eyeway is a resource that we have tried to create on living life with blindness. Our focus, we believe that every blind person is potentially part of the human resource of our country, and there is a lot of talent and ability. It needs to be developed and invested in. We also run a helpline, which takes calls from Monday through Friday. The helpline is 1800 5320 469. Shabnam, you could also share this number on the chat box.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. So every month we have this session, Eyeway Encounters. And when we started this during the pandemic, it was a weekly affair. Every week we had a guest. But then, of course, the pandemic also saw a lot of webinars and a lot of programs coming up on Zoom. And we just felt that there was a kind of internet fatigue that had set in. And therefore, we just felt that it needs to be kind of spaced out. So this financial year, starting April, we started doing it. We started doing it once a month. And so this is a venture where we are looking at, we have a guest from the advertising industry who's a well-known creative writer, a copywriter. He has worked for several years. He's done a lot of major campaigns, and he also teaches creative writing at Mudra, the MICA, which is the creative center in Ahmedabad, which is run by Mudra Advertising Agency. And he's also does a lot of training. Otherwise, when he speaks, he will also tell us a little more about himself. And it's a privilege to have him on the program. And one aspiration we have after the program, depending on how all of you respond, we plan to give you all an exercise, and depending on how you respond, we plan to pick up 5 individuals who respond and work on a more intensive set of sessions with those 5 people on creative writing. And see how it goes. And if it works well, then we plan to do this creative writing more regularly as a training program, intensive training program. So that's the intention, but it all depends on how you respond. And we have an experienced teacher with us. So today would be essentially a trailer to what creative writing would be. As Rajan was telling me, creative writing is not just about writing. It's about the mind. It's about how you think. And it's about unique ways of expressing yourself, not necessarily towing the conventional, everybody says so, so I also will say it that way. It's about standing out with your unique style, unique creative style, unique original style, which says, I am George Abraham, or I am Rajan Nair, or I'm Shabnam Durrani. You know, it's about being unique, being creative, and being different. Not for the sake of being different, but the sake of being interesting, engaging, and enterprising. So having said this, let me hand you over to the speaker of the day. Rajan, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, George. Those were the kind words. And I will just take this forward a little bit in terms of just my background. I mean, of all things, how I got into advertising and creativity is very funny. I am qualified in law, actually, and I'm an economics and statistics graduate. So that actually is completely contrary to what I did for the rest of my life and how I earned my living and bread. Staying as far away from economics, statistics, and the law, and broke every law possible from a creative point of view, so that I could do something different, something interesting. And every day, you wake up not thinking you're going to work, but oh, I'm going to have fun today again. That has kept me alive mentally and joyful, in things that I've been doing all these years. And like George mentioned just a few moments ago, it's about being different, not for the sake of being different, but because that's what the Almighty intended anyway, right? He made us all different, and it's up to us to live up to His expectations of showing that difference. Uh, Becoming almost, I would say, if I had to use technical words, I would say, how are you a brand? Are you being a brand which you were intended to be? And just again, before the session started, we were discussing on Amul versus Sagar, and you have staunch followers for each of these, and that's because of branding. Each of those two brands has managed to stand out in its own way. Amul has done fabulous things in milk marketing and in production and manufacturing. I mean, it's a world phenomenon. And Sagar is not as big as Amul, but it has carved its own niche, and you will find that happening at every stage. In different brands, in different categories. I mean, each politician manages to cast himself into a different mold, and every actor, we find stands out and offers something different because that potential is there in him, and he's able to express himself in the way that brings out the best of him to the rest of the world. And I think for the rest of this session, I am going to focus on that. What is it there inside you that you've been keeping hidden all this while, even probably from yourself? Can you just let open the cage, and let the birds out? Let's see what's there, and you yourself might be surprised at what is possible. And so that is the kind of thing that if you look forward to doing every day, you can do interesting work. Some of the campaigns that I have done, actually, for me, that becomes a living proof of, okay, I have been doing the right thing, at least in my own way. I think campaigns like the Raymond's, which has become quite popular. Raymond's, the Complete Man campaign, the a lot of Times of India work, Economic Times, the Power of Knowledge as a whole campaign. Thumbs Up. Although I did not write the Taste the Thunder slogan, I've done a lot of the films for Thumbs Up and Gold Spot, for Limca. These are some of the better known brands that I've worked with. But I've worked with all categories. In fact, even if I have to say so myself, I was one of the persons responsible for getting Sharad Pawar elected in those days. I worked on the Congress I campaign, and I'm not so sure I did the right thing now, but that's a different issue. I mean, politics and ideas change. Yeah, but it's been a good life. And for the last almost 15, 16 years, I have moved into teaching. That again happened by pure coincidence. I was working with an agency called Anthem Radius, which got merged with TBW, an international agency. And they asked me if I could help set up the digital branch of that agency. So I said, yes, why not? Digital was all brand new at that time. Nothing special was happening. So anybody could be right and anybody could be wrong. So I said, no harm. Let me also experiment and see what I can do. So I set that up and I found it very exciting. So then I finally quit advertising and I said, let me set up this thing on software. And I set up this company with a technical hardware specialist kind of friend. And we called it compassbox.com. It was educational. And this I'm talking of 1991. I mean, sorry, 2001, when not many people knew anything about the internet and very few people even had email addresses. And we were working off some 24 kbps kind of speeds on a modem, 24 kbps. And if you had 1 MB storage, you were considered, wow, so much storage you have, 1 MB. And Compass Box became quite good because it was educational. And we were teaching and tutoring students from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, kind of thing for 8 subjects at a time. And we got funded. We put up a large company and it was quite successful for a while. We had 9,000 students all over the world because we were on CBSE curriculum also. And CBSE being the curriculum used by a lot of diplomatic, consulate kind of people or military or services, people who get transferred. So it was quite popular. And finally we sold it to a slightly larger company and then we moved on. And I got involved in teaching because that was my first experience with teaching, live kind of thing. And then I started teaching. Then I said, rather than teaching regular subjects, let me teach creativity because that's what I have been doing for the last 25, 30 years anyway. So I joined as a visiting faculty at MICA. MICA is the Mudra Institute of Communications in Ahmedabad. It's a management school among the top 10, 15 of them, set up by Reliance, Reliance, Dhirubhai Ambani Reliance. And now it has been taken over by another international advertising company. So Mudra is no longer really the owner. So it's just called MICA, M-I-C-A, MICA. But I also have taught at a couple of other places, including Symbiosis and a lot of colleges in Bombay, etc. Now, currently, I'm teaching at a university called Vijayabhumi, which is in Karjat, which is in Maharashtra, Karjat, between Bombay and Pune. And the origin of that institute is in IFIM Bangalore, which again is a very well-known management institution among the top 20, I would say, in the country. Pretty good, solid company. And this campus at Karjat includes a design school. So I'm an adjunct professor at the design school, and that's me. So if a few of the participants here could just introduce, give me a very quick rundown, so I know what kind of language structure flow I should use. Sometimes I end up talking too fast, or I speak pure English, and there are people who are better, more comfortable with another language, for instance. So if I have a short introduction to a few people who are participating here, I think that will make me more familiar with how I should proceed, more comfortable with how I should proceed. And you can volunteer, why not?
Yeah, people could unmute and say quickly say something. Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Nitin
Yeah.
Sharma. I am basically from Himachal Pradesh and working as a special educator in Delhi.
Okay. Special educator.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Special education is especially trained to teach people with disability.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay. It's a B.Ed program designed to equip teachers to teach people with disability.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Who else?
Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Payal.
Okay, my name is Payal Jitra. I am from Mumbai. I work with a public sector bank, but my passion is writing. I write blogs, spiritual blogs and parenting blogs. And even in office, whenever, there's something to be like, you were talking about legal stuff earlier. So although it's creative writing, but whenever there is, some communication to be drafted, so, my colleagues share the content, and it's great work for me because I get the knowledge and they get the language. So that's a combo how we work. So that's why I'm here. I mean, just to learn more, because there's always more that you can learn.
Yeah. Payal, just to go a little deeper, since you said that you're already working in a public sector bank, it means that you are a graduate already. Your qualification would be a graduate. Is that automatic sort of thing? Otherwise, you would not be in a public sector bank. Well, I remember writing the State Bank probationary officer's exam and failing miserably.
No, actually, it's because of family situation that I had to get into a job. I also did a diploma in journalism. So, but I mean, creativity can be explored anywhere. So I'm cool with it. I get a lot for blogging as well.
No. I was just talking about educational qualification. You are a graduate.
Yes, I'm a graduate.
Yeah.
In English literature.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
She's a graduate in English literature and a diploma in journalism.
Journalism, very good, fantastic.
Hello, sir. My name is Ranjana, and I'm teacher. Basically, I'm Hindi teacher, and I like to write poems in Hindi, essays, articles, and slogans also. So that's why I found this session interesting for me. That's why I joined here.
Wow, very good.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Sona.
This is Sona. Actually, I am from Chennai and I
Mhm.
am married and settled. And I'm a housewife, sir. And I am running coaching class, sir. Spoken Hindi, I am teaching here for Tamil Nadu people.
Mhm.
And I basically I'm interested to learn new things, sir. So I joined this session to learn some things.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
So can I talk? I'm Vasudha.
Yes, please.
Bangalore.
Yeah, was.
Actually, I'm a trainer in Health Line Foundation, English trainer. So I joined. I am also a postgraduate, and I'm teaching. I was teaching literature for graduate students for a very long time, and then now, even from last 3 years, I am into teaching these disabled, especially visually impaired students. I'm training them for spoken English classes. So I was just, my purpose of joining this section was to look forward for how creative I can be to teach them creative writing.
Wonderful. No, actually, that I will definitely keep asking you for hints and guidance, because you're already doing half of what we're going to be doing. I think your experience will be very valuable in this.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. I will definitely extend my.
That would be wonderful.
I'm actually a principal of a college.
Okay.
But this is my passion to teach.
Okay, wonderful. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Rajan.
Rajan. Yeah.
Rajan, sorry, I
pronounced
your name wrong.
No problem.
I am a 60-year-old person. I did my post-graduation from Delhi University way back in 1986 in operational research.
Okay.
So I got this problem only 5 years back only. So by now I am a retired person.
Okay.
I want to start my creative writing.
Wonderful.
Or in Punjabi, particularly in Punjabi only. Can you guide me something for this?
I can guide you for English. You can translate that to Punjabi. Because expressions are beyond language. Language is not a barrier.
Okay. So I start creative writing.
Yeah.
So can you guide me something for this?
Yes, definitely.
At this stage of life.
Yeah, why not?
Sure, sir.
Why not?
What's your name?
My name is Kaval Nayan Gupta from Hyderabad.
Okay. Because I've also done operations research, so I was wondering.
On which year you have done the operational research?
1981.
1981. You are my seniors.
Yeah, from Delhi University.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening once again. Ambika Sitaram here. So there are 3 of us from Help the Blind Foundation. Like Vasudha just introduced herself.
Yeah.
And then there's Gayatri and me, Ambika. The 3 of us are into, we are connected with this NGO called Help the Blind Foundation.
Okay.
And, we started helping out visually impaired students of various colleges across India with their English speaking skills to make them employable in companies. I wish I could, also tell everyone that I have some paper qualification or I've done something in literature, but unfortunately it's just merely passion driven that I'm here. And that's what it is. We have been designing modules for these students, and we would like to actually impart whatever we learn from outside. We would like to pass it on to our students and empower them, basically. Okay, thank you so much. Looking forward.
That's great, Ambika. That's wonderful. Passion is actually a lot more important than educational qualifications, I would say. Yeah, if you have passion, then you can overcome any problem. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
Sometimes I do feel the pinch. I feel a little handicapped when I Okay, anyway,
Oh,
thank you so much.
that depends on who you're interacting with. Luckily for me, one of the things that I decided is that I would only work in places where they don't ask me, show me your college certificate. You know, so I don't need to prove educational qualifications. I would rather show capabilities. Yeah. So anyway,
I'm
that was.
fortunate that I'm associated with Help the Blind Foundation. This took me in.
Okay. So I think I've got a very good idea of the kind of people who are present on this session, and that's good enough. You can always ask questions in between, and we'll try and field it if there is some communication gap, if there's some language problem or a technical issue, whichever we can manage. So I think we can start now, George, if you're okay with it.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay, so let me start off with. I'll just give you a quick things of what I plan to do for this whole for the next few. We have more than half an hour left. I want to explore creativity. How you express your creativity, whether you do it through dance, whether you do it through singing, you do it through poetry, you do it through mimicry or through miming, it doesn't matter. The fact is that your creativity should be visible not only to yourself and to the world. How you express it is entirely up to you. You may find that yourself excellent in one particular way of expressing yourself, but you may not necessarily like it. You can be good at something without really being very excited about it. You may want to do it in a different way. Like for instance, I write very decent poetry, but I'm not very fond of poetry myself. So if I'm forced to write poetry, I will write. But given a choice, I would rather write prose. I would write. I do write lyrics for advertising jingles, etc. And that doesn't mean I really like it, just because I'm good at it. So what I want to explore in this next time that we have here is to understand what is creativity and recognize it within yourself, and then to let it out of the cage which you have been sort of put it in for all these years, if you have not already been expressing yourself creatively. I would say there are two parts to this. One is expressing your creativity for your own personal satisfaction. That's one thing. The other thing is to express it in such a way that there is an audience who appreciates it also. I think the second part is equally satisfying and important, because you can write great poetry, you can write fantastic songs, you can take fantastic pictures, but don't show it to anyone, or just print it out and keep it in your drawer. And nobody benefits by it. Only you go to sleep knowing that Arey, maine bahut acha likha aaj, and I'm very happy with it. That's nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying, but you could step out a little bit more and share it with a few more people, and probably get more passion out of it, more satisfaction out of it. That is possible. That second part, we will take care of it a little later, because that is where fine tuning and the mechanics of editing comes in. So you can write a poem, that's your first draft, or you can write a song, that would be your first rendition. But that need not be the final. You can wake up tomorrow again and say, "Abhi main usko wapas likh raha hu. I'm going to change a few words here. I'm going to change the rhythm. I'm going to change the flow. I'm going to remove some of the words or sentences or the stanzas which I'm not really excited about." And that part is equally important, because that is where you are making it presentable and memorable for other people, not for yourself alone. Your expression is first, and then editing is the second. So creativity is the first, and editing is stage 2. We need to get this process very clear. That is the best way to produce satisfying and memorable and outstanding work. First, let go of all inhibitions which are holding you and your creativity back. After that, you do editing of whatever you have created. So these 2 steps we'll do: step 1, step 2, step 1, step 2 over the next few sessions, if possible. But today I want to start off with asking if anyone can tell me, what is creativity? By your own definition, there's no right or wrong, but what do you think of what is creativity? What is creativity?
May I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Expression of your mind, of your thoughts.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
something that I would love, that I love to do and express it in the way I want. I think that's creativity.
Creativity, yeah, okay.
Sir, creativity means express your thought in a unique way.
Okay. Okay, that unique word you stressed upon. Okay.
Creativity means simply means that express your thoughts in an artistic way.
So what is artistic?
It can be anything like it can be art of music, it can be art of writing.
Thoda sa aur sochiye, because it becomes a little circular definition. You know, anything that is artistic is creative, and what is creativity? It is artistic. You know, तो वो थोड़ा गोल जाएगा. So you need to break it somewhere to explain a bit more, or use some other examples.
Can I say, sir? Can I say?
Yeah, Dilip, go ahead.
Creativity is something which gives you inner pleasure as well as which is being appreciated by others. Okay.
Yeah, that's somewhat. Yes, somebody's raised a hand. V2027. That's a funny name. Can you change the name to something
more original?
Very original. R2D2, like, you know, from Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, there are a couple of definitions in the chat box also.
Okay, let's see.
Sir, may I?
Creativity, the expression of your imagination in an original manner. Okay, that's interesting. That was by Shruti. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'd like to share here.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, creativity is doing the same thing in a different way. Like if I'm going to do something and today is 3rd June. So how am I doing something differently? The same thing that I was doing on 1st or 2nd June. Like, you know, it would be spending time with my son. It could be, you know, waking up in the morning. It could be going for a walk. So, you know, I do it in a different way. Instead of the terrace, I go to the swing. Something that I'm doing.
Okay. So the key word in your definition is the word different. Doing something different. So by definition, the word different means doing something which is not ordinary, which you have been doing for a while. That makes sense, yeah? Sure. Go ahead. Anyone else?
Sir, may I?
Yeah, Shubham.
Sir, creativity means, I think, to express your fundamental thoughts through language, picture, and any other medium.
थोड़ा limiting हो जाएगा, because that is just plain communication. It does not move away from communication to creativity. Okay. Anyone else? Nitin, you're on mute, but.
Sir, मैंने ही बोला अभी.
क्या बोला आपने?
He was the one who already spoke just now, Nitin.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. So yeah, correct. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, see, actually, some of these definitions were a little basic. I would not say they are wrong, but they were just the first part of it, the basic part of it, which was bordering more on communication per se, rather than going into the next step, which is, you know, you communicate in the same way or you communicate differently, or you solve a problem in the same way or you solve a problem differently. So that differently is actually the key phrase that seems to be coming across from what many of the participants have stated. And I think that is actually where the truth of creativity is, doing something different, doing something unique, which has not been done before. See, that is actually what makes it different. Otherwise, the word different doesn't have any meaning. And so that actually brings us, you know, there are actually several definitions for creativity. Some of them are very complex, exactly like how you would expect it from an Encyclopedia Britannica kind of thing, but the others are very basic. You know, this is some people get it down to very basic things like, you know, if you can watch a child at play, that's creativity, you know. that gives you a complete definition of how children play, and that is very creative. That's good enough because children have no inhibitions. They are not guided by rules. They have, of course, there are basic rules, but those are not fundamental rules which all of us follow in society anyway. But otherwise, children have no limitations. They can happily sit and talk to themselves for an hour. They can play the same, little doll. They can walk around and chat with it and play with it for hours together, and they're perfectly fine. In their mind, they're doing something very different, which we as adults or we as normal people, not children anymore, we do. And that's exactly where even Picasso's definition of creativity comes in. He says the artist is a child who has grown up and not forgotten to be a child. That if you can keep that in your mind, then a lot of things become possible. So let me ask one very basic question. I want you to think deeply about it, and then you can answer. Either you can raise your hand and answer on screen, you can put it on chat, or whatever, whichever you're convenient and comfortable with. How many of you are creative? Are you creative? I'm asking each one of you.
I think I am.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I think so too. Maybe I
Okay.
am.
Okay.
I love to, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
me
I
too.
think I am.
Vasudha,
Sir,
yeah,
me
okay.
too.
Who's that? Vasudha, yeah, who
Sir,
is?
Ranjana.
Ranjana, okay, yeah, okay. What about the others?
Yes, sir. Me also.
Yes, sir.
I am.
Nitin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to be, sir, but I really don't know how. That's why I'm here.
Right. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Please say yes or no. Are you creative? I am or I am not. And
Yes,
there
sir,
again, there
I
is
am.
neither right nor wrong.
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, that's Tufail. Yeah.
But I am not creative.
Tufail, you're saying you're not creative.
Tufail said
Yeah.
I am creative.
Okay, who said I am not?
I think, Dilip,
Someone-
I'm an imitator rather than creator.
Okay. So should I take it that the others who have not answered are more or less confirmed in their own minds that they're not creative? Because those who are creative have spoken about it openly.
I think some of them are not going to unmute themselves probably, but most of them I think are. Would like to say they're creative.
No, I'm not so sure, Shabnam.
Really?
No, really. That's why I'm asking. I want their what do they think about it themselves? You'll be surprised.
Sir, I think I'm not creative.
Namrata.
Says, Namrata,
Okay.
yeah. She says,
Okay.
yeah, she's not creative in writing,
Hmm.
but you could be creative in anything else as well.
No, creativity in general. It doesn't matter whether it's in writing, acting. It doesn't matter. I'm just talking about creativity.
So for me, creativity is something like, using the minimum resources and, creating something unique or something great about something. So I don't think so I'm creative in that sense.
Sir,
Yeah, okay.
May I
Sorry, go
speak
ahead.
something?
Yeah, who's this?
Shubham?
Yes, Shubham. Sir, I just wanted to say, in order to appreciate any creativity, a person needs to be creative in itself, right? The very reception demands some sort of creativity.
I don't know. That second part, I don't know, because I'll have to. I won't be able to get into other people's mind to find out, what they think. So, for instance, if we have 1 lakh visitors for the Taj Mahal, how many of these people are really creative? Who just came to see the Taj Mahal?
Hello.
Sir,
Yeah.
hello.
Who's this? Ahad?
Hello.
Yeah, Ahad, please go ahead.
Yes.
Ahad, you want to say something? Please say it.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Right now, I'm joining you.
Okay, you're
Okay.
joining us. Okay.
Okay.
Hello,
You
sir.
can-
I am creative, but I am always skeptical about my work.
That's Gaurang.
Gaurang, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir,
Hello.
this is Sona.
Uh-huh.
Sir, I am creative in cooking, sir. I use different methods, and I make different dishes, sir.
Sona.
Yeah, that's great. Great, Sona. Sona, so after a little more time goes into the session, you will
Hello.
change your opinion. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Manoj, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Haji. Sir, every person is creative.
No, my question was no. My question was very sharp and very focused. Are you creative?
Yes, I am a creative, sir.
Very good. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just add, just in case people think otherwise. I also enjoy being creative. I think I am creative.
Very good. Okay.
George sir is creative, as we know him. Sir, and I think you have not to be creative for appreciate creativity.
Okay. You need not be creative to appreciate creativity. Okay, great.
Of course,
Yeah, that's a possibility.
if you are not creative, then of course you can appreciate creativity. It's not necessary you should be creative. Then you will appreciate only creativity.
Okay. Okay, so let me sort of share some thoughts with you on this. Like I said earlier, when we were discussing what is creativity, there are several definitions. Nobody is right, nobody is wrong. But there's a general idea that when you are doing something different, and you're solving a problem in a slightly different manner, that shows that you have creative possibilities or your creative talents. Several years ago, I think it was in the early 60s, several large multinational companies like IBM and Coca-Cola and General Electric, they got together and they said, because they were having trouble with recruitment, they were looking specifically for creative people. So they said, now how do we even define this and put it out into a recruitment ad so that we can advertising, so that we can actually recruit people who are creative for this post, for whatever number of posts that they had. So they said, let us conduct research. Let's ask thousands of people, 10,000 people. We have the money for it. Let's put proper research and let's just find out, who is creative. Somebody's motorbike is.
Yeah, I've just muted.
Sure. Yeah. So they wanted to find out, spend enough money, time, discuss with a lot of people, and find out, who is creative. So they spent time and effort on this, and after a month or so, they actually tabulated the results, and they got an answer of who is creative. Can you guess what the answer is? Any guesses? It's pure guess. I'm not saying that you know it, but just guess. What was the answer to this worldwide statistical, question? Survey that they did. Who is creative? They got an answer. They actually got an answer. So can you guess?
Sir, a person who entertains others.
Okay.
Entertains.
Okay, let's move on. Okay. Who else? Not really, but let's move on. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. The person who is thinking and doing something different is called creative.
Okay. Pratmesh. Yeah, Pratmesh had an yeah.
Sir, I think that the person who looks the things from the different aspects, and here I think perspective really matters. How the person sees the particular thing.
Okay. There's a point there, yeah.
Sir, person who does things in a different way, which another person's like.
Okay. Yeah.
Gayatri writes people who inspire and entertain.
Maybe people with not much education. I don't know.
Another way of putting this definition is people who attract and engage people.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, out of box thinking, like.
But that is again a circular definition. It's creative because it's out of the box. It's out of the box because it's creative. You know, that thoda circular ho jayega.
May I just clarify something here? You asked who would probably be creative, right?
Not who would probably. The research threw up an answer to the question, who is creative? There is an answer. If the question is who is creative, there is a definite answer.
Shruti writes people who write politicians' speeches.
They're creative. They're very, very creative. That's true.
I would think that the result would be like people who are full of energy and enthusiasm and bubbly types, because creativity
Okay.
is also an energy.
Yeah, but thoda aisa to go there.
Sir,
You know-
according to me,
Yeah.
people who make things, people who make things special, like interesting. People who
Okay.
make things special and interesting.
Okay. This again would be slightly circular because it's interesting because it's different, and it's different because it's interesting.
So we have another comment that says from Safia, someone who has the ability to look up at things in new ways or turning imaginative ideas into reality.
This it's a sort of a definition, but it doesn't really answer the question of who is creative. Because it says
Sir,
that you
a
can
person who can
imagination.
sell its products to many people.
Selling what?
Sell a product.
Products.
Oh, okay. Not necessary. I mean, just okay. Any one final this thing? Then we can move on. I'll give you the answer
Maybe
from what the research.
maybe
Yeah, Vasudha?
maybe the person for those for the research questions, the person would have given very funny answers.
No. But this was a very valid answer. It works. It's a proper answer. The answer that they got to the survey was very valid. It was very proper, very usable, very practical.
I meant to say, when they pose the questions for research, they would
They would have got. Yeah.
very funny. And
I'm
very
sure. Yeah. Like to what Shabnam just read out from the chat. People who write politician speeches, those kind of answers. I'm sure they would have got hundreds of those. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you what was the answer to.
The person who can make best out of the best.
No. That's a little vague. I'll give you a very precise answer. The answer was very precise. It's a very beautiful answer. It's a very practical answer. And if you want, you must make note of it somewhere, or it is, make sure that it stays in your mind forever. The answer could actually change your life. And the answer is very simple. To the question, who is creative? The answer was, he or she is creative who thinks he or she is creative.
It's so simple.
Wow, then we all belong to that.
Absolutely. That's the truth. That is the God-given truth. Because how you think is how you will behave. How you behave develops your character and your personality. And your character and your personality defines your life. It defines you. So if you think you're creative, that's all you need to do. You don't need somebody else's opinion on whether you are creative or not. It's you. The moment you decide for yourself that I am creative, everything that you do will have a creative color and tinge and feel to it. It is automatic. It is natural. It's almost like, you wear the earphones where everything is amplified, and you hear all those little sounds which normally you may not have heard or paid attention to. Suddenly, just because you have this earphones inside your head which tells you now you're going to be creative. I am creative. From this moment onwards, I am creative. That's all you got to tell yourself. And things can change. It's just your self-belief and your self-confidence. Your confidence, in fact, will come through that. You don't have to be confident to say I am creative. You think of yourself as creative. The confidence that you are creative will come through because you will start doing things which will keep adding more and more strength and proof of your belief. Yeah, I think therefore I am. Shruti has summed it up perfectly. Cogito ergo sum. Very, very true. How many of you are creative?
All of us.
do all those people who first said very categorically, I don't think I am creative. What is their opinion now?
It's Gayatri saying that then I'm creative too.
Yeah, very true, very true. So by that definition and by that belief, every engineer, every statistician, every lawyer, every artist, every painter, every singer is creative. Everybody is creative. It actually is true. Somebody said this right in the beginning that everybody is creative, and that's the truth. That really is the truth. That's all there is to it. And once you start doing that, let's now take this to the second level in the next 5 minutes. Okay, one of the criteria and one of the important things to which we said earlier, if you watch children at play, you realize that they have no inhibitions. They're not bothered. What do you think? For them, that little toy that they're holding in the hand and running vroom, 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 up and down it's a Formula 1 racing car. They are the drivers and they are champions. And you might be sitting and watching, अरे यार ये तो सोफा के ऊपर गाड़ी चला रहा है, वो बोलता है Formula 1 है. You might think that you're an adult and you're putting all kinds of rational restrictions to your thinking and logic. The child is not doing it. He's very happy doing exactly what he thinks is right. So you need to let down your hair. You need to, sort of stop inhibiting and limiting yourself. You need to stop worrying about वो क्या सोचेंगे, लोग क्या सोचेंगे. The moment you stop thinking that, because that is one of the things that hold us back. When we want to express something that comes as an idea, when we say idea, it's obviously going to be different from what has been going on, right? That's what makes it an idea. And we say that I want to discuss this and let me speak. This is नहीं यार, अभी इतने जन बैठे हैं यहाँ पे, सब engineer लोग हैं, सब managing directors हैं, some all famous people or some all experts. उनके बीच में जाके मैं क्या बोलूँगा? And they will say that ये पागल क्या बोल रहे हैं? So you would rather not speak. You would keep quiet, and therefore, what may have been a brilliant idea just fizzles out. You lose it. So fear, a lot of kinds of fears and social taboos and cultural taboos and your background inhibitions, these hold you back. But there's another very important thing which holds us back from being creative. Very, very, very crucial, very simple sort of hurdle which prevents us from being creative. Any guesses? What stops us? I already mentioned fear.
Self-doubt, yeah.
Apart from that, apart from confidence and doubt and fear,
So we ourselves, because we think
that's
we
confidence.
think of other thinking.
Other people, what other people, that's fear. Yeah, we are afraid of what other people will say or think. Yeah. Shruti has asked a question, does it mean creativity doesn't require validation? I would say no, it doesn't require validation at the creative level. When it comes into execution and when you are actually putting in money, time, effort, other people's work, life, those kind of things, you would need validation, and that's where your expression comes in. How convinced are you about your own idea or your creativity, and how can you convince somebody else? Because there is always a risk. When somebody is putting up a 40-story building, there is a risk. There is a risk, but it's a calculated risk. And people do that. When you're building the Taj Mahal, you really don't know, how it's going to shape up at the end. You have a clear vision, and you are putting it together, but you don't know final what it's going to be like. But that's where all human endeavor takes a leap and takes a leap of faith and takes chance. Otherwise, nothing ever decent would happen. Everybody would still be living in the trees only right now if we did not take a chance. Yeah. So, what is the hurdle? What is the biggest hurdle to creativity?
I would say belief systems.
Okay. That is one
Negative
possible answer.
self-affirmations, negative
Mhm.
self-affirmations.
Yeah, that's also possible. Yes.
Sir, firstly, I think self-doubt, self-confidence, and then
That is there.
exposure and
Yes, that's
exposure
that
environment.
100%. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, but that can still be overcome. That can still, through training and through perseverance, we can still overcome that.
Shruti writes our own imagination, and then there is somebody, Safia says that the fear of failing holds us back from being creative.
That's it. That fear is there. That part we've taken. Anything else that you can? It's a very simple word. It's so simple
So
that when I
sometimes laziness.
laziness. Yes. You're actually on the right track. Can you take it a little forward? Thoda aur socho.
Learnings, our own learning and conditioning over a period of time, you know. The
So what is
society
that
has
called? So what is that called?
Conditioning.
थोड़ा सा और more simple word for conditioning. Another way of looking at conditioning.
Situation.
Prejudices.
Situation.
Sorry, Dilip sir. What was
Situation. Our situation.
Prejudices.
Okay, prejudices. Yeah.
Learnings, prejudices, education.
Reading.
Reading, not necessarily.
Training.
Hello.
But
Tell me.
lazy people are more creative. That I know.
Yes, laziness is the mother of invention.
Hello.
So because of Google, we stopped thinking.
That's very true. Before also we used to stop thinking actually. Before Google. But actually, Gayatri, you were on the right track. George, you were also on the right track actually. थोड़ा सा ये करना था. Just demystify.
Laziness.
Somewhat.
Sir, lack of motivation.
That's again comes back to confidence. I'll tell you because
Negativity, sir.
Sir, feeling of inferiority.
No, not really.
लोग क्या कहेंगे, हम ये सोचकर रुक जाते हैं कि लोग क्या कहेंगे.
Yeah, that fear is there. That fear is definitely there.
Hello.
Ignorance or negligence.
Ignorance, negligence is definitely there. Yeah. Who else?
Negativity, sir.
Negativity, yes, that is always a problem.
Fear of facing rejections.
People, those who don't have time, actually busy, I think they couldn't be more creative.
Actually, I'll tell you the answer. It's so simple. You'll say, shit, why didn't I think of that? It's so simple. The biggest hurdle to creativity is habit. HABIT, habit. Because you do things in a particular manner and you're comfortable with that, again you do the same thing. And then next day again you do the same thing. And the third day you do the same thing. And you keep doing it. And then what happens is you fall into a rut. R-U-T, rut. You know, a rut, what is a rut? A rut is a little track that forms on the road when a vehicle keeps going on that same track back and forth. You know, this actually word has come from the Roman times. You know, when on the road, the chariots, they used to drive the chariots on the road and back and forth in the same pattern. So the wheel actually dug into the road, you know, and it formed grooves. And the wheel used to be in the groove and it used to go back and forth and that. And sometimes the groove used to become so deep that you get stuck in the rut. So that's why you know, I'm stuck in a rut. You know, that phrases also come from that because you're just following in the same groove back and forth. There's a particular way that you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you wear your shoes and socks, and you shave or you dress up, and you follow that pattern. You know, you don't think that normally I wear my left leg socks first. Let me today wear it with my right foot. Let me see, just for the change. Every day I wear my wristwatch on my left. Let me wear it on my right. You know. Just consciously doing that is something that we are reluctant because we are in our comfort zone. We are driven, we're creatures of habit. We're comfortable with habit. So the moment you break away from habit or from the things that you have done or others have done, and you change that consciously or you relook at it consciously, you will automatically end up doing something new and something different. That's the secret to creativity. So, I mean, even from our own my own work experience, I would say if I get a new toothpaste brand to be advertised, my first job would be to actually study what has already been done. I don't sit up and say, for healthy teeth and strong teeth and healthy gums, use XYZ toothpaste. That's the most obvious thing, because that's been done by Colgate and Sibaka and by Dabur, and you name it, everybody's done it. But then a promised toothpaste suddenly comes up with and says, this one has clove oil. Although all toothpaste have clove oil, nobody's ever talked about it. But suddenly when Balsara ka promised toothpaste comes up and says, isme long ka tel hai. And then you remember, okay, Dadima used to put long ka tel in my tooth whenever that cavity used to hurt, and it used to solve. So, this toothpaste is damn good. Dusra koi toothpaste mein nahi hai. So you're thinking differently. You've broken the habit. So that actually makes it different. Every day morning, I mean, you might like dosa for breakfast, but one day mom puts Shezwan chutney on it and gives it to you, and you says, "Wow, ये Shezwan dosa kahan se aa gaya?" So Madrasi and Chinese combination achanak is suddenly very creative. Why not? So that's all there is to it. Two things. Understand that you are born creative, and you have to just believe that you're creative. Get rid of your habits and break out of the habit. And third is be fearless. Who's there to question you? Who's right and who's wrong when it comes to creative? It's your thoughts, it's your ideas, it's your expression. How you fine tune it and make it acceptable is part 2. That we will do over a period of time, because that's a skill. Skills can be learned. Skills can always be learned, but your deepest ways of expressing yourself cannot be learned. You just have to do it yourself. Nobody can come and do it for you. You just have to do it yourself. Okay, George, I think we are at the time.
So the formula is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the formula is B plus H plus F.
How's that?
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Break habits.
Yeah.
Be fearless.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, you summed it up beautifully. Very good. Excellent. That works. Right.
So I think it'd be good if people want to ask questions.
Yeah.
I think it's the time when they could ask their questions, and and then you might want to give them an exercise as we discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe let's see if there are any questions.
Yeah.
Prathamesh has his hand up for a long time now. Prathamesh, unmute करना पड़ेगा.
Prathamesh.
Alt Y.
Okay. Any questions we can discuss now?
Everybody's become creative, so no questions.
Everybody's thinking about how simple this was, and yet it seemed so difficult before when we thought about creative writing. But then all it takes is three things that you spoke.
Yeah, someone is trying to speak. Yeah. This is.
How can I instill that creativity among my students who are visually impaired? How can I motivate them? See, when the sighted ones, we see different things. Colors make a difference for us. But of course, music is one of those things which they enjoy differently.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how will I be able to instill that that creative ways of writing among the visually impaired?
Yeah. See, I would again go back to what we started out with when I was discussing earlier with George also. Writing is just one form of expression. See, like in advertising, we say, no, I am very good at doing television advertising, but I don't know how to handle something on the web. It doesn't matter actually, because the web is just another medium. Like the newspaper is a medium, or television is a medium, or a hoarding poster is a medium, or a leaflet or a brochure is a medium. But the thought that you have, whether that is expressed on a hoarding or on a television or on a newspaper, is actually what makes a difference. The thought is the most important thing. So here again, what I would say is, if you're talking about creativity, yes, creativity is fine. Why do you have to express it in the written form? You could speak it out, you could narrate it, you could sing it. It still works. So the expression, I think, would be important. Sorry, yeah, Josh, continue.
No, just to go back to what you said, the 3 points. One is to liberate your mind to start believing in yourself. Second is to liberate yourself to not conform to set ways.
Correct.
And third is to be totally uninhibited.
Yeah.
And I think writing is basically one canvas that you have. Colors is probably another canvas. Your voice is a third canvas.
Yeah.
Maybe your hands probably is another
Yeah.
canvas. So I think the focus is on the mind.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to the lady's question is, I think it's about working towards opening up people's mind to, and giving people the opportunity to think different, on one single subject. Let's come up with multiple ideas. That might be a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Sir, I want to say something on this question.
Yes.
So we can do a little exercise with our visual impaired students. Like there are poems in our textbook, so we can make a parody of that poems also to create to become creative our students. Also idea. Which one I
Yeah. We can do that. No problem. Yeah. That's valid. That's fine.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, may I ask you some different question to this topic? Sir, if you have put a one jingle for satsang, how you write it?
I'm not sure what is that. What does it mean actually? I have not understood the question.
Satsang is a spiritual gathering where there is somebody who's kind of speaking from the scriptures, and so normally there would be some singing before or after or during, where probably some kind of music songs would be sung. And I think he's talking about how can one compose create a song which is appropriate for a sung, or which will fit into a satsang kind of scenario. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that shouldn't be very difficult actually. If you are wholeheartedly believing in something, then it's as good as writing a film song, like a Bollywood song, or like writing poetry to your girlfriend or boyfriend, or to your somebody loved one. Your whole focus, everything would be on that person. So if God is that person, or some spiritual being is that person, you would be able to write, and ultimately you're putting all your senses and passions together and composing something only. Nothing changes. It's just that the end goal changes, nothing else. The material that you put together is all the same, whether you're talking to right. If you were writing, okay, let's take this as a simple quick discussion. Instead of talking at, let's say, at a satsang level, if you were saying that I dearly love my mother, she was a goddess to me right from the time I was born, and on her 70th birthday I want to write a poem for her. I'm going to compose a poem. Would you be able to do that without any guidance from anyone? You would be able to do that, Kamal bhai? Yeah.
Yes.
तो माँ के बदले में भगवान रख दो वहां पे, हो गया काम आपका. It's very easy. Very easy to compose because you're passionately, deeply involved in it, right? You have your whole heart and soul focused on that.
Yeah, while we are having this gap between the question and answer, let me just share with Shabnam. There are a lot of thoughts put in the chat box. Is there any way of capturing it and making sure we lose it?
Yeah, Ketho will be taking care of that. I mean, you mean to say right now, or?
No. Make sure that when we sign off today, that we don't lose these thoughts. There are a lot of very interesting comments and ideas which have been shared. Yeah.
Because I think recording, the chat doesn't get recorded.
Chat she will export it and then see.
Sure. Okay, so shall we give the assignment that we had discussed, George?
Yeah.
It's a very simple and very interesting assignment, and if you can write it and or speak it or record it, narrate it, and mail it, that would be wonderful. And from that, we will see people who seem to be really keen on doing creative writing as a session. So we can take 2 or 3 sessions on that separately. The assignment is very simple. You suddenly You're at home and a friend rings the doorbell and that friend comes in. Friend could be male or female, it doesn't matter. And that friend has got a puppy. That he or she is carrying a puppy, and come into the room and you suddenly you realize that अरे यार मैं little puppy ये कहाँ से मिला आपको ये क्यों लेके आया and the puppy starts talking to you actually in a human voice which only you can hear, nobody else can hear, but you are able to hear it. And what is the story that it's telling? That's what you have to write out.
Yeah, would you like to specify the number of words that they could use?
Yeah, I think 300 words max.
300 words, and if they can send it in by Monday,
Yeah.
it will be great. And Shabnam, can you share our email ID so that those who want to write can send it in on that email ID?
Yes, I'll just put it in the chat.
You can also call it out also, just in case.
eyeway.org@gmail.com. It is EYEWAY.org@gmail.com.
Hello.
Yeah, बोलिए.
Can you put in the drop WhatsApp group?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm sure George will be able to post that.
Do we have a list of people who are participating today on their numbers on WhatsApp?
Ketho, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, no. Yeah, Ketho, all the names that you see here, are all these people registered or has somebody joined just with the link, do you think? Do you have any idea about that?
I think like 2-3 of them are not registered.
2-3 of them are not?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we do this? Should we ask everybody to put their number, or just who are these 2-3 people? Would you know their know that by the name?
I think Safia Kantru.
No, Safia. No.
Yeah, and Kanwal Gupta. I think he's not registered.
Kamal's number.
I am on WhatsApp group, ma'am.
You are subscribed to WhatsApp alerts?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, then I think we'll find you.
I'm also on WhatsApp and Eyeway group, and my mail ID is also registered there.
Okay.
And there is someone with P Das. I think I'm not so sure if he's
P Das?
registered. Yeah, P Das.
P Das. Okay, we'll ask him for his phone number.
Is it? Do you think it's possible that everybody kind of puts their name and number on in the chat box so that we are sure everybody gets it?
Yeah, they can do that. Everybody can put their number and their name in the. I mean, of course, the number would be there, name would be there. They just need to put their numbers.
May I put the number in the
Yes,
WhatsApp
please
group?
put it on the chat also. Put it on the chat here. Okay, Keso, so everybody's putting it here. Please just save it like you do. The chat.
Madam, I will put in the WhatsApp group.
What WhatsApp group is it that you're talking about?
Eyeway WhatsApp group, ma'am.
Okay, so you'll just send a message to our number, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some people are already putting the stuff in. The others who are not able to put, they can just send us a WhatsApp message so that we can immediately respond. So you want us to send you
Sir,
this?
if I'm there, we have who are in WhatsApp, your WhatsApp group, they also to put their number?
Yeah, I think so. It'll be good if you can put your number down, because WhatsApp group has numbers in thousands. There are about 5,000 odd people on that WhatsApp group. So it'll be difficult for us to kind of know who attended today and who did not. So it'll be easier for us if you can either put your number here, or you can send us an WhatsApp message saying that I was there, and can you send me the assignment?
I'm putting Eyeway WhatsApp number here.
So WhatsApp number 99682
9968 329329.
329329. Okay.
So Rajan, any creative ways of doing this?
When you said 5,000 WhatsApp group, the group comprises already of that number.
Yeah.
So that's tough to manage. So you probably have to create a smaller group for this.
Yeah, no, we are only looking at people who attended today.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. There are about 38 or 37 people who attended today.
Yeah. I think if they put their numbers on the chat, or if they sent a message to the WhatsApp group saying that creative writing workshop participant, just that much would do. And that would actually help to create the group very quickly. It's the fastest way, I think.
Yeah.
Cool cookies is what I would call this group. Payal says.
So the recording of this session will be available on YouTube by next week. And then we also send the YouTube recording through WhatsApp again to everybody so that everybody can watch it.
The link, yeah.
Yeah, somebody's asking for the recordings. This will be up on our YouTube channel, Eyeway. I'll just give you the link to our YouTube Eyeway channel also.
It's called Eyeway India, the channel.
Called Eyeway India, and I'm just sending you the...
Rajan, can you WhatsApp this assignment?
I've put it on chat already.
You already put it on chat.
I'll put it on chat already. In fact, sorry, I only sent it to Shabnam.
That's fine. She will share it. Yeah. So while we are doing all this, while there is a silence, let me express my appreciation, Rajan, for you taking out the time.
My pleasure, absolutely.
It was an interactive session, but I think the basics of creative writing, the way you put, you kind of unpacked the idea of creativity, I think is very interesting. And otherwise we go all over the place trying to find out what is it to be creative. And I think what you said was to just be yourself and let your hair down and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not having fun, then you're not being creative.
Yeah. And then the skills of writing, the skills of speaking, the power of the language, these are all tools that we have to be creative.
Correct.
Okay, so I've shared the Eyeway YouTube link as well on the chats. Gurpreet, I think we have your number, but if you've already put it, we will add you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have to, Shabnam, you'll have to give them the. Achha, you said that they would put the assignment on the chat. Is it? I mean, on the WhatsApp group.
No.
They would email it.
They would either email it to us or WhatsApp it to us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's great.
The people who have attended and whoever wants to do this assignment, we will follow up with them and they can share it with us.
Lovely.
I've also put in the email ID, eyeway.org@gmail.com. eyeway.org@gmail.com is our email ID where they'll be sending it.
Yeah, and as I said again, by 5 o'clock on, or let's say by 12 midnight on Monday, before that, please send it to us.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up five of those entries, depending on what Rajan feels. 5?
We can go up to 10 if there are more participants and who are very keen on it. We can go up to 10. More than 10 becomes a little difficult to handle. Because it's all online. If it was physical, at least you can walk around and guide each person, literally hand holding, But online it becomes a little difficult.
Okay, so 5 to 10, we would pick up 5 to 10 people, depending on what we feel, what vibes we get from the stories.
Sure.
And then we'll plan ahead for the next round of sessions.
Yeah, wonderful. Any feedback that any of the participants give you on the session, on whether it's technical or any other things?
Yeah, so we send out a feedback form. Yeah, and then so then
share some of those stuff with me, which might help me to do a better job the next round. Yeah.
Well, Rajan,
Sir,
it was
one question.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, I have to ask one question. Sir, is there any word limit for writing?
Yeah, 300 words. 300.
Okay. Thank you.
Lot of words. Don't worry. So, Rajan, thanks again. And
most welcome. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
There are already some feedback on the chat box.
It was great session. Shruti says.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
We should do.
And we have somebody, Saravanan, saying, when will be our next session, follow-up session? I think after you have done the assignment, and then we will send out the follow-up details also with you.
Yeah. I think Shruti is now looking for a politician for whom she can write a speech.
I'm not sure if Shruti is still here, but yeah.
Chalo.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Okay.
Been great participants.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you so much.